Welcome back to the channel. Well, it seems to be true that all roads lead back to a BCM 11.5 and a Glock 19, so I'm officially a basic white bitch. So just like many of you, I picked up a dedicated suppressor that is the AB A-10 Warthog, and instead of just keep loading up on my buffer weight and buffer springs, I went ahead and grabbed the BRT EZTUNE gas tube. And if I videotape this, I'll throw my installation at the end of this video. I haven't done a lot of real work on an AR-15. I've tinkered around changing parts, but not really taken the handguard off and changing any kind of gas system. So I'm a little intimidated, but I know this is the right direction to go instead of just putting a Band-Aid on the problem. So if you're not familiar, we've got the gas tube here, which is going to let less gas in from my stock BCM. So this is from Black River Tactical. What you do is you put in your barrel length, dedicated suppressor, and I have BRT decide the best tubing size for me. They sent me an 055. I told them that I was only shooting 5.56 brass and that I had an H2 buffer, mil-spec carbine spring, and a mil-spec bolt carrier group. Rifle was a BCM 11.5 ELW, and I didn't know the port size. And then I told them specifically what suppressor I had on there and that it was going to be dedicated. And they sent me this little tube. However, BCM sends their 11.5 ELWs out, and I was getting some ejection patterns that were overgassed. I figured I'd choke it down at the source. I know a lot of you guys are going to ask, so there's the AB A-10 under here. I've burned my leg twice already, so what I have under there's a Kevlar wrap that you would wrap a muffler with, or an exhaust like a motorcycle exhaust. So, and then around it, I just put in some goon tape or some medical semi-permanent tape around that. Looks like my suppressor wrap is not working, so, ooh, she's toasty. Looks like it could work if I did a better job of wrapping it with the Kevlar. There you go. Ribbed for her play. All right, I was able to get the gas tube installed, and let's take it out to the range and see how we did. Okay, so that was my first two shots with that tube. So I put in all the information about my barrel length, rifle, suppressor, and this thing is coming right in at 4 o'clock. So coming in right in after installing that tube, after putting in all the information into their website, that first two shots was coming right in at 3:30, 4 o'clock. They've got this thing down to a precision. That's pretty cool. And it definitely was a lot smoother shooting, wasn't so violent, less felt recoil. Let's do one more, it's fun. But I need to zero this thing here. That's right at 3 o'clock. So 3 o'clock, 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock. Brilliant. So as many of you know, when you add a suppressor, especially one like the one I have here, it's going to give you additional back pressure. Now you can start loading up your buffer system. That means you can get up to an H1, 2, and even H3, and then start going up in additional spring weight. Now, even if I did that and I started really getting the ejection pattern right, I'm still not solving the problem at the source and getting a lot of gas in the face, as well as a lot more reciprocating mass. This is still cheaper. I think this came in around 80 or 90 bucks shipped to my door. And when I started looking at the Super 42 or even the Blue Spring with the H1, 2, or 3 buffer system, I'm not really saving any money. So the biggest hurdle for me was to be okay with taking my AR apart for the first time. When I put all my information in, it was asking me at BRT, it was asking me how I was going to run my rifle. So you don't necessarily put in what you have. It may be the case, but you put in where you want your rifle to be. I stuck with an H2 along with a standard carbine buffer spring. And my thought was if I ever did take this suppressor off, I could throw my regular carbine weight buffer system in and it could still run. So I'll be testing that the next time I go to the range. So if you're thinking about doing a dedicated suppressor on your 11.5, go ahead and do it. Just know that you're gonna have to screw with your buffer system and or your gas system. I was not confident enough in my skill set to go with an adjustable system, and I think this gas tube was a happy medium. The ejection pattern is perfect and it shoots a lot smoother, and I have a lot less gas in the face. And in regards to taking it all apart, I just watched a few YouTube channels, and depending on your AR-15, there's going to be a lot of different systems, but they all kind of work the same. The biggest thing is make sure you get the right length of tube. So just look up your gas tube length, whether it's a carbine length, pistol length, or something like that. That would be the easiest thing, I think, to make a mistake on. And yeah, and just dig around on the internet. There's so many great YouTube channels out there teaching you how to install and uninstall gas tubes and take your handguards off, things of that nature. There's a lot of different tips, tricks, and techniques that these guys have out there. And as you can see, I did not have high-tech equipment. I had a few punches, a few pliers, and the appropriate drivers. I would say the one thing you can't go without is a punch and then a torque wrench. You need to be able to know how many foot-pounds or how many inch-pounds of torque you're putting on these nuts and bolts as you're taking things on and off. All right. That does it for me. I'll be doing another video on this EP8 next, and also after I get a little bit more time behind this can, I'll do a long-term review on the AB A-10 Warthog. My name is Mike. You're at the Gun Channel. We'll see you soon.